a 3 or higher in 2016 was 30% of our students, and in 2017 took almost a 10-point jump up to 39%. We're still below the state and even the global because AP is a global test, but this next slide gives you a better picture of the jumps we actually made there. So in 2016, these are our total scores, just raw data. So in 2016, we had 174 total AP students in the school. In 2017, we had 228, which was a 31% jump. So in total number of exams, and this is the big jump that you can see. In 16, we had 198 exams that were taken by our students. In 17, we had 347 exams. So that was a 75% increase. And then in 16, the total number of AP students that scored a 3 or higher was 53, and then in 17, it was 88 students. So we definitely made some pretty significant increases. And that tells the story a little bit better than the previous slides. We're definitely trending in the right direction. There's also something called AP Scholars and AP Scholars with Honors. And we had some the last couple of years actually, but AP Scholars is granted to students who receive scores of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. That's cumulative of their high school career. So in 17, we had, or in 16 rather, right here, we had 6 students that scored that were AP Scholars, and between those 6 students, they took 23 tests. Last year, we had 14 students that reached the AP Scholar designation, and between those 14, they took 63 tests. So, and again, it's cumulative through their high school career. So some of those, I think one of those actually had taken 8 tests in high school when all said was done. So, and then we have our AP Scholars with Honors. And these are granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.25 on all the AP exams that they take, and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more exams that they take. So in 16, we had 3 students reach that designation. Those 3 took 12 tests. Last year, we had 4 students, and between those 4, they took 26 tests. So we have some kids really taking advantage of the AP program, and a lot of these students, and again, depending on where they go to school and what the school will take, but it's not unusual to have students start their first year in college as a sophomore in hours because of the credit that they get through AP. Next, so this is kind of busy, I know, so I'm going to walk you through it. So these are our number of just the exams that we offer. So over here are the different exams that were taken in 2017. So you see chemistry, English, all the way down, studio art, all the way down to Spanish language. Where it is gray, 2017 was the first time that exam was taken. Or either that course was offered or the exam was taken because the student wanted to just take it on their own, even without the course. So that's what the gray is. So if you look here in 2017 across here, these are the number of 3s that were scored for each of those subjects, the number of 4s for each of those subjects, and the number of 5 for each of those subjects. And I saw Jenny in here. And there, yeah, in the art, there's 3 5s. She's doing well there. So if you look over here, what our goal was is to get 100% testing from our enrollment. So if we wanted every student in the class to take the AP exam in May. And if you look down, we came pretty close to that. So here's 13 testers of the 13 that were enrolled, 56 of the 56, 27 of 28, and so on. So again, down here, and these tell the real story. Uh-oh. Close that, James.
Right.
It's time to update. Yeah. So down here again, there was 198 exams and 174 students last year. I mean, it's 2016. And then last year we had 347 exams and 220 students. So we're definitely trending up and directed. Yes, sir.
The 5 freshmen, what subject did they take?
Spanish. They took Spanish 1, so they took the Spanish language test. And the pilot for it last year, we didn't have a class. Those were native speakers that took it as a pilot last year. So those freshmen took Spanish 1 in 8th grade and took Spanish 2 as freshmen and took the Spanish language test. Okay, so those were our AP scores. Now we're in to the ACT and SAT. And ACT and SAT, most are familiar with. They are indicators of college readiness, and they're also required one or the other, or sometimes both, for college admittance and certain scores on those. So for our ACT scores, we had 55 students tested in 2016 and 61 students tested in 2017. The big difference between the two is the ACT has a science component on it. That's really the biggest difference. They're both college readiness indicators though. And again, it depends on the school that you're going to, which one they want, depending on what you're going to major in. So if you look in 2016 in English, on the English component of our ACT, we were 20.1 in 16, and we bumped up in 2017, and we're above the state average. In math, we went down just a little bit, but we're still above the state average for our ACT scores, our averages. Reading, this was our biggest jump, and again, above the state average. Science, again, in 16, we were 20.4, 17, 21.9, and again, above the state average, just a little. And then our composite, just a slight little dip as far as the total composite average of everybody, but still above the state average across the board. So we're doing well there. This is just a different kind of look to give you more indication of what the ACT really talks about or tells. It's the percentage of ACT tested students that are ready for college level coursework. And so let me explain it because it gets a little busy over here. But so a benchmark score on the ACT is the minimum score needed, and it either indicates a 50% chance of a student obtaining a B or a 75% chance of a student obtaining a C in that college course, if it, the equivalent of the college course. So of our students that took you remember there were only 61 students that took the ACT, 67% of our students are college ready, according to the ACT minimum standards. And then that's the state average is the 57. So in college algebra, and that's in English. In algebra, we're just above the state, 41% are, and it was 25 students down here, the number of students. In the social sciences, social studies, 49%, again, over the state average. In biology, college biology, 44% made the standard, again above the state, and then meeting all four of them, 31% of the students, so 19 of the 61 students met standard in all four of the college level coursework. They're the benchmarks for ACT. Okay, and now our SAT, and the reason there is not a 2016 comparison, the test changed in 2016. It changed from last year. The scoring system's different. They took out the essay component. That's optional now, and that's purely based on, again, where you're going to school, if they require it or not. So it's really comparing apples to oranges now if you look at the scores, because they don't really match up. They changed that. The SAT and the PSAT is now going to be scored just like the SAT, so it will be a better indicator of what students will be doing on the SAT. But what I really want to point out, when you look at these, and you can see that we're above the state average on all of these for last year, but here's what's really important to know. Last year, we tested, this is based on 11th graders, 219 11th graders on the same day. We did the SAT school day for the first time last year. So everybody took the test that day. We're doing it again on October 11th. On October 11th, 8th grade all the way through 12th grade is either going to be taking a PSAT, 8th and 9th grade, a PSAT National Merit, or the SAT. So when you start thinking about that we've had that many kids and we are above the state average on all of those, the numbers, we're doing very well on the SAT. And that was the first year we had done that. So we're definitely trending in the right directions on all our college readiness indicators. So I think that's it, yeah. Now to you. Anybody have any questions?
And trustees, at this point, what I'd like to do is have our principals come up. And beyond what you saw today on just the STAR results, we also have some district priorities that really encompass a lot of different variables. And at this time, I'm going to have our administration be able to talk about certain sections and certain initiatives. But the main thing about moving a district forward is to really be aligned on a specific focus, and that's where we are here. So I'm going to present the 9 different areas as far as district priorities, and from there, the ball game didn't really change too much. The ingredients didn't change. The game plan didn't change. It's continuing to look at what we're doing now and examine, make sure we refine it, and go deeper. And so that's what we're starting to see, the movement that we're starting to see now. Because what you saw right now, the results wasn't from one year to the next. That's already preparation that's come into the previous couple of years leading in towards that, and then we start to see the results. So from the hard work of our amazing teachers, the hard work of our administrators, and everyone having a specific focus and alignment, this is where we start to head. So I'd like to go ahead and start off with our continued priorities that we had last year, and we did some refining in certain areas, and even in addition to certain areas, so we continue to move forward. So all this is right here when you look at number 1 is implement high five challenge. That's a recognition of really for all of us as we welcome our students in the morning, welcome them throughout the day, is to recognize them, get that eye contact, get that social contact, give them that high five, let them know, give them a compliment of some sort to let them know, hey, I care about you, I'm here for you, and I'll do anything for you while you're here. But that's an aligned effort. So the example I gave is, if everyone were just to give a high five once a day, and think about how many kids we can impact throughout the week. Now think about that when we look at a employee pool of about 440 employees, we're going to have over 2,000 recognitions in 1 week. Think about the culture that helps establish for our school district. When we look at number 2, implement Rachel's Challenge program. Again, that's a district-wide initiative. And at this point, I'd like our principals to be able to talk about Rachel's Challenge.
At the high school and the junior high, we've implemented Rachel's Challenge through advisory. Our students do activities one of our advisory days each week. Also, both campuses have the Friends of Rachel Club, and our Friends of Rachel Club at the high school meets on one of those advisory days, and the junior highs meets after school. Also, within the 4 club, which is the Friends of Rachel Club, there are clubs within that, and there's the Welcoming Club, the projects, and then also the Compassion and Action. Those are some of the examples of the clubs.
The elementary level?
Good evening. At the primary, all of our teachers and staff have signed the Rachel's Challenge banner. We have created a huge hand. All of the students have the chance to paint their hands in our fine arts class and put that up. On that hand, it talks about the 5 challenges. We also talk about the challenges and creating our kindness links and adding to our kindness links every day during the morning announcements. And I have challenged our primary students to build the longest link in WCN ISD. So we are definitely working on that and continuing those conversations in our classrooms as well.
Our next priority, increase district attendance to 96.6. And at this point, I'd like to give you some figures of what we do. And trustees, I'd like to pass these out. And really the key ingredients to improving attendance performance is for everyone, again, to be aligned, to have the same focus, to have the same conversations, to visit that weekly, discuss the successes, also discuss where we have some dips, and be able to look at that. Because every single campus is going to have a little bit different ingredients. And that's what you want to see. You want it customized to the need of that particular campus. But what's important to acknowledge is what you'll see here is at the high school, we start from week 1. We not only look at the trends that we have for this year, but you'll notice we have trends all the way from back 2014, 15, and going on up. When you see the green, that means that we've made continued growth, when you look at cumulative growth. But as a school district, our goal is to be at 96.6. So in order to attain that 96.6, that means everyone's got to do their part to be able to provide that support. Because I'll tell you right now, there's going to be 1 week when one school's going to be up and one school's going to be down. And so on throughout. But that's where we all pull together as a team, have the same focus, and getting our kids into school, because we know when they're sitting in the seat, they're going to be learning, and when they're learning, they're going to be a lot more successful. So at the high school, right now, our cumulative average is 95.8. At the junior high, cumulative is 97.1. Our intermediate is 98.7. Our primary is 97.4. And again, our district goal is 96.6, and right now we're at 96.9. So we'd like to share some of the activities.
Good evening, board, Dr. Rado, community members. One of the things that we've spent a lot of time talking about attendance and just doing things custom to our campus, but we know at the heart of that is making school good for kids, making it enjoyable for kids. And so Mrs. Martin and I, we got some student feedback last year. You know, when kids feel overwhelmed, they're not going to be as apt to come to school. And so one of the things we're doing this year is we're running an advisory schedule twice a week to give them an hour a week to help catch up on work, get extra support so that they come to school. And also at the junior high, one of the things we're doing is called Saturday Support. It's not Saturday school, but it's a voluntary thing to help kids come in and get work. We have staff on hand to help, and we've had great success in getting kids there. And also we noticed that when kids come, some of those kids who habitually miss are more likely to come to school because they're not as overwhelmed. And then in addition to that, we're doing just some fun incentives. We're trying to do things at the junior high every month. High school does exemptions from exams for attendance, and so we're just really trying to communicate that, build support with our parents, and keep moving our numbers in a positive direction.
Well, one of the things we do at the intermediate school is we have a lot of initiatives like most campuses do, but the thing that makes the biggest difference for us, I think, is that after a child misses 2 consecutive days of school, the teacher must call the parent and talk with the parent and see what's going on with the kid. So oftentimes it's just letting the parent know that we care about the child, we miss them in school and they're not learning and we want them here, and that gets it there.
And that gets us a 98.7, so this is pretty good. All right, our next priority is students will read at or above grade level by the end of 3rd grade. And again, that's a concerted effort since the time that the kids start on day 1 here and continue moving forward, because we know that what research shows, and statistically, if a student is not reading at or above grade level by the end of 3rd grade, there's an 80% chance that that child will not graduate from high school. And that's not something that we can tolerate or afford here in Vernia ISD. We want to make sure that all of our kids are reading at and above grade level. So Ms. Wade's going to just share some of the foundation that they set at the primary in order for our kids to transition prepared.
Thank you. We spend a lot of time reflecting, especially last year, we spent a lot of time reflecting and looking at ways that we could increase our student numbers and getting them to that goal. I have to say for 2nd grade, we were at 80%, and we were 12 students shy of meeting our goal of having 85% of those students reaching that grade level. So really getting to know our students by name and need. But we have implemented campus-wide intervention time first thing in the morning from 7:40 to 8:15. During that time, there's tiered interventions, iStation and LLI. We have initiated a campus-wide literacy block. We are using balanced literacy and providing an aligned framework for Readers and Writers Workshop. And then based on the climate survey and teacher discussions that I've had, the teachers requested additional support with phonics development, and so we provided letters training to all of our K through 2 teachers to provide a focus on the phonics. And we have also began taking beginning of year data on our kindergarten students. We have not done that in the past, and this was our first time to do that. So that's going to give us a baseline to where we can really start providing that early intervention support.
And our next priority is increased writing performance.
We usually don't argue what we're talking about. One of the things that we're doing, and you're going to see a lot of alignment between junior high and high school in this, but we're using empowering writers and Gretchen Barnaby, those strategies, those trainings, and just continually coming back to what we've done instead of reinventing the wheel, but sticking to our current game plan. We're also working on both campuses to really, what do teachers need to be successful? And so we've really made a step to just, if teachers are telling us they need things for professional libraries, we've done a lot of ordering, getting our teachers into trainings to help them as well that they've requested. We're continuing to build on our portfolios, our student portfolios, build on that process. And then something that's been a big benefit to us this year, we have a new instructional coach who's really focused on secondary writing. And she's just done an amazing job of helping get aligned and also strengthening our vertical alignment. And then one of the big things we're doing this year is a pilot at the junior high that we're excited about is we've split reading and writing. That's a lot of pressure on one teacher, and in the past we've had one teacher be double tested for 2 subjects. And so we've split that for 2 teachers. One will do reading all day and one is doing writing all day. And so far, the staff's really been excited about it. The teachers participating in that pilot are enjoying it. And in the end, we're anticipating that's going to lead to some good gains, but it'll give us a data point for some, hopefully further direction as well for our writing.
And that was also one of the points that was made on the climate survey, some of the feedback we received from our teachers, and that is something that we implement.
We also have additional resources for our teachers in their professional libraries. Also with our instructional coach, she has worked with our teachers to assess current instruction in order to meet future needs. Some of our teachers are teaching like they did maybe 10, 20 years ago, and so we're trying to get our teachers to teach in a way that they can relate to our students and better engage them. So she's working very closely with some of our teachers. And we have very specific teacher and classroom learning expectations.
Our next priority is increase STAR ELC Level 3 performance. And when you look at STAR Level 3 ELC performance, you can come up. Really, the magic ingredient of this is know every student by name and need. And in education, what we tend to do is always really focus in on the middle, try to catch up the kids at the bottom as far as try to get them to a Met standard level of performance. But the key indicator here, which we saw tremendous growth, remember this was out of 23 indicators. Out of 23 indicators, we had 82% of indicators that met and exceeded level 3 performance this past year. We hadn't done that before. And the magic ingredient there about knowing every student by name and need is that we also had a focus group for all of our students who had met and also had the potential of getting that level 3 based on their previous scores, and really continue to pay attention to them throughout the year as well. And that's a result of what we got. So with 82% of 23 indicators that were met. And that's pretty good. And that's, again, go back to the hard work of our teachers and our administrators and staff.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say.
All right, then.
You get it right on. One of the things in education, as he said, you often dwell on are the kids that are struggling the most. Because those are the kids you want to give a lot of effort to. Well, last year, we decided to give a lot of extra focus to the kids that were at the top. And so it really made a huge difference. We gained over 12 percentage points in level 3 across the board. So that means, for example, 3rd graders the year before, 23% of them scored an 86 on the STAR test. Last year, we had 39.5% 3rd graders score an 88 or higher. So it does make a difference when you put a little effort into the high kids too, to reach level 3.
Thanks. All right, priority number 7, increase AP dual credit participation and performance.
I know Ms. Simmons already shared some of this information, but I'd like to explain the increase. We increased by 9% with our performance and by 75% with our number of exams taken. And of course, that's not where we want to be performance-wise. We'd like to be much higher. But this increase was a result of AP teachers collaborating and meeting about student data with our district instructional coach, academic dean, and district advanced academics coordinator. Also, the expectation of students in AP courses is that they take the exam. The school pays a percentage towards every exam that they take. Also, we increased our AP course offerings. And this year, in addition to everything that we did last year and will continue to do this year, we have purchased Albert, which is a test bank of AP type questions that will give teachers a better idea of how students will perform on their exams, and it will provide us more data so we know what we need to do for our students. Our academic dean, district instructional coach, and district advanced academics coordinator will continue to work with AP teachers to provide support in order to increase our student performance. With dual credit, we increased our dual credit offerings through CTE and plan to increase CTE dual credit offerings for next year. Our college and career readiness advisor will also help to increase awareness of the benefits of dual credit courses. Our number of students in dual credit last year was 123. This year it's at 131. And with our dual credit students, we very rarely have students who drop those courses because we provide them the support that they need in order to be successful. Oh, no, I'm saying that?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. With SAT and ACT performance, we have implemented the SAT school day. Last spring was our first SAT school day. This year, seniors are going to test in the fall. Our juniors will test in the spring. We implemented PSAT 8-9 last year for 8th graders and 9th graders. We have SAT warm-ups through all of our classes. Students had an option to select SAT advisory to use the Khan Academy during advisory. Students are strongly encouraged to sign up for the ACT because the school has paid for 2 SAT exams for them. So we sent home information to parents, and we also asked our students to try to take an ACT because they didn't have to pay for 2 of their SATs. And that's helped in some instances. I've convinced students to take the ACT and try it out. In the spring, we'll have a strong push for our juniors to use the Khan Academy. Our study halls are divided by grade level, so our junior study halls will show our students how to connect their PSAT scores to the Khan Academy. And what happens is a plan will be created for students to do practice between when they get their PSAT scores until they take that SAT in April. So that's our plan in the spring. If they don't have any kind of homework or anything to work on during study hall, they'll be using the Khan Academy.
Thank you. And that takes us to number 9. Number 9, elevate to top 10 standing in UIL Lone Star Cup. And let me explain what that is. The Lone Star Cup is across the state of Texas. Is basically we're recognized along all 4A division. And we're compared to all high schools at that point. So right now in 4A division, we're competing with over 200 high schools. And with that, what we're looking at is not only one academic area, but we're looking at points that are allocated for athletics, points that are allocated for the fine arts, and points that are allocated again for the academic, which in this case is UIL. So as a school district here, when we start looking at the metrics to show that it all comes together, I mean, we just have amazing, amazing teachers and coaches that make it happen. We were in 43rd place last year, 43rd out of over 200 schools, and we're down to, I should say, up to. It sounds like it's contradictory, but it's up to, really progressing more toward the top 10 at 13. So we went from 43rd place standing to 13 standing. So what we're looking at is, I asked a question to my staff and I said, so why is Vernia number 7 and we're not right there right next to Vernia? There's no excuse. I mean, we can do it. It's just really looking at those extra points that they had that we didn't, because they have a couple extra programs that we don't. So that's how we start to map that out and do whatever we need to take to get those extra few points to get to the top 10. So again, I want to congratulate our staff and congratulate as a whole all of our principals, teachers, our coaches, just really the whole staff coming together and make that happen. And that's just one of those ingredients that make where you get it all together, all the chemistry come together and make something happen like that. So those are our top 9 priorities, which we'll continue to focus in on. And like I said, last year we had, I would say, 90% of these were the same. So we continue to refine that and go even deeper for the next year. Thank you. Any questions for our principals? All right, thank you.
So now we're up to the consider and take possible action on Region 20 Education Service Center commitments. Mr. Gonzalez.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Boone, community and staff. This evening, we're asking for your approval on Region 20 commitments. By participating in Region 20 commitments, the district is able to take advantage of professional development, either at the district here, the campuses, and or at Region 20. Also, for curriculum support, just to name a few. One thing that, part of the commitments is they host our student business database, and so that's a big portion of those commitments there. This is a yearly recurring, cost approval that we're asking for. And as far as budget, this has already been budgeted in the 2017-2018 budget. So it's already been embedded in the budget.
Does anybody have any questions?
Madam President, I move we accept the Region 20 Education Service Center. I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Next item is consider and take possible action on the interlocal agreement for the police services for the city of Vernia.
Trustees, at this point, I'm asking you to consider take possible action on the interlocal agreement. We do have Chief Ritchie here, who's been an instrumental partner in working with our school district just throughout the years, but also in our efforts right now to be able to have a police officer on our campus, which